be offered by Principal Nick Heward from the Lagos Christian Academy in Casa Grande. And the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Supervisor Goodman. Do you accept that? All right. So all that wish to participate, if you could please stand.
Thank you, Lord, for this wonderful morning. Thank you for this opportunity to come and to serve you. Lord, we just lift up this board. God, I pray that you would give them wisdom, Lord, and discernment, God, as they govern over this county. Give them understanding as they discuss and consider all of the action items, Lord. And I pray for unity and strength and courage for them. I pray for this county, Lord. I pray for the law, Lord, that there would be a humble surrender for those that need your help, Lord. You provide your rest and your security and your safety for each and every person here today as well, Lord. I just thank you for this time, God. May it go really smoothly. And we just thank you for this wonderful county and these wonderful members of the chairman of the board as well. And we just pray for your goodness and your mercy to reign over this county. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. And at this time, we're going to recess the Board of Supervisors meeting. May I get a motion to convene executive session and recess the regular meeting?
Chairman,
Ma'am.
if we can call the meeting to order.
Okay. How about that? I'll call the meeting to order. Now, we're going to recess the Board of Supervisors meeting to executive session. If I could get a motion, please.
So moved.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Those in favor indicate aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we're in executive session.
Moved.
I have a motion. Is there a second? I have a motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. We are back in a regular meeting. So this is item number 3. Item number 3 is discussion, approval, disapproval to waive attorney-client privilege of the legal opinion letter dated January 21, 26 from counsel at Snell and Wilmer, who were engaged as conflict counsel to advise the Board of Supervisors regarding the legality of the agreement and the scope and functions authorized or delegated to the county attorney's office in a memorandum of agreement, the 287G task force model, dated August 28, 2025, that was entered into between the county attorney and Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Immigration and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, without prior board authorization, and present the findings to the board. Also, to release the letter documenting the findings of Snell and Wilmer. And Mr. Johnson, I believe you are somewhere close, but good, stay there. May I get a motion on this item, please?
So moved.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. And now, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Chair and members of the board. At your request, we have evaluated whether or not the Pinal County Attorney's Office has the authority to directly enter into what is commonly called as a 287G agreement with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, otherwise known as DHS. Our understanding is that the Pinal County Attorney's Office has invited this analysis to determine its office's authority to enter into such agreements. As way of background, a 287G agreement is between a state or political subdivision and DHS to authorize state or political subdivision employees to assist DHS, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE, in investigating, apprehending, or detaining illegal immigrants in the United States. The state or political subdivision that enters into these 287G agreement agrees that it is at no cost to DHS or the United States, and that it will indemnify the U.S. government for any of the acts of the local employees. Based on our review, the Pinal County Attorney's Office is not authorized to enter into 287G agreements. First, the county is the political subdivision. The Pinal County Attorney's Office is not a political subdivision. Only the Board of Supervisors, on behalf of the county, is authorized by law to enter into a contractually binding agreement for the county. Similarly, only the board is authorized to enter into intergovernmental agreements with federal or other state agencies. Furthermore, the federal statute that actually authorizes the 287G agreements clearly also requires that the agreement must be with the state or a political subdivision. Second, the duties of the Pinal County Attorney's Office are specific and delegated by the legislature. The legislature has not granted the Pinal County Attorney's Office to perform law enforcement functions as contemplated by the 287G agreement, such as warrantless arrests. Instead, the Pinal County Attorney's Office is charged with prosecuting violations of the law as investigated and referred to it by actual law enforcement agencies, such as the Pinal County Sheriff's Office. This goes to a realistic issue that the Pinal County Attorney's Office is not equipped to actually carry out the requirements of the 287G agreement. Third, the legislature has specifically given the authorities to take certain acts, such as investigating crimes and preserving the peace, to the sheriff. The board is not authorized to transfer the sheriff's duties to another elected official, such as the county attorney. Fourth, the board alone has what's called the power of the purse and is required to exercise fiscal supervision over other county offices, including the Pinal County Attorney's Office. The 287G agreement exposes the county to potential financial liability, in addition to having to pay for the county's personnel time in performing the 287G activities, as well as other liabilities as to their conduct in assisting ICE. This is clearly in the purview of the board. The bottom line is that the Pinal County Attorney's Office is the prosecutorial arm of the county. It is not a law enforcement agency like the Sheriff's Office. As such, any 287G agreement is void as unauthorized by law because it was not approved by this board. Happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none. I have no questions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson. So that's it. All right. Item number 4. This is a discussion, approval, disapproval of an intergovernmental agreement with Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Immigration, ICE, 287G Jail Enhancement Model Memorandum of Agreement to update contact points and current elected officer Sheriff Teeple, pursuant to which the Pinal County Sheriff's Office collaborates with ICE to enhance the safety and security of the communities by focusing resources on identifying and processing removable aliens who have been arrested and booked into the Pinal County Jail. I'm going to have Sheriff Teeple come speak about this.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Pinal County, Ross Teeple, resident of Pinal County for over 25 years. Your last line states it perfectly there, Mr. Chairman. It's people that have been arrested and booked into the Pinal County Jail. These are individuals that have been arrested on state charges by law enforcement agents in this county. They're booked into our jail. No one wants erroneous releases, just like if we check if MCSO has a warrant for someone's arrest, we run everyone through the system to make sure that there's not a warrant for the arrest by another law enforcement entity.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? Supervisor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've had this in place for a number of years. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember what year we first put it in place?
I will tell you, when I started with the Pinal County Sheriff's Office in 2007 under Sheriff Chris Vasquez, we had a 287G agreement. The oldest 287G agreement that I can find that's signed by the chairman of the board was in 2008. So, but that would have, it's been that long. We've had it over 15 years. There are, by a poll, there are 6 other counties in in Arizona that have the 287G jail enhancement model, and all of them are quite happy with it.
This is just to reaffirm that we do have this in place, and it's functional in our system.
Yes, sir. It functioned under this admin and the previous admin.
Thank you.
And just to be clear, did you go ahead?
No. Well, I was just going to ask, is this something that we need to renew or anything of that nature?
It's standard
Once
for.
it's already been in place, it renews automatically?
Yes, we had to update it. I changed public information officer, so it was our old contact for the public information officer still listed the previous employees, so we had to update it with our current PIO.
Okay.
And just clear, you don't hunt people down, kick doors in. This is people that are under your, they've been brought to the jail. That's correct? Just
Yes,
to
sir.
be clear. Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the board? None. With that, then, may I get a motion, please, on item 4?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve item number 4 as presented.
I have a motion. Is there a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Sheriff Teeple.
Thank you.
We have item 5 is the county manager's report. Mr. Liu is not here today. He seems to be under the weather. Ms. Shepard, do you have any information or fun for us?
Chairman McClure, members of the board, Mary Ellen Shepard, Deputy County Manager, on behalf of Leo Liu. We did plan for 2 items today, a follow-up on the public health disease information in Pinal County and a video on the broadband tower project. However, these items Mr. Liu hoped to present personally, so we are postponing them until your next board meeting.
Which is February 4. 2 weeks, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, in that case, we'll go to item number 6, presentation of certificates of service. That's back to you, Ms. Shepard.
Chairman McClure, members of the board, it is my genuine privilege to help recognize our long-tenured employees on behalf of Mr. Liu. We know long tenure is a rarity in today's employment environment, making those who have committed much of their adult life to seeing us through the many changes experienced in the past 2 to 3 decades exceedingly valuable. These employees, along with their families, are well deserving of our gratitude. So without further ado, please let us acknowledge the 5 Pinal County employees who have made a difference in our lives by committing theirs to our Pinal County community. Let us start with Alicia Morrow, Clerk of the Superior Court. She has been with us 20 years, and it's my understanding Ms. Rebecca Padilla is here to speak to acknowledge her.
Sorry. Chairman McClure, Vice Chairman Surdy, members of the board, good morning. My name is Rebecca Padilla. I am the clerk of the Superior Court. I'm here today to celebrate a truly remarkable milestone, 20 years of dedicated service from Alicia Morrow. When Alicia Morrow came to work in Pinal County 2 decades ago, she began her career in the clerk's office in our jury department, where she worked for 7 years, and then promoted to our customer service department, working the front lines, assisting court customers. From there, she took a critical role in court administration as our court analyst, completing our mandatory state time standards reporting. When I made the decision to seek the appointment as clerk, she was the first one that said she would stand by my side every step of the way. And she has, and currently serves as my clerk of the court's manager. She provided her support as we navigated through a transition period after I took office as the clerk, facing many, many challenges head on. The journey for us has not always been an easy one, but I stand here today very proud of the organization that we have become. Over the past few years, we have faced staffing shortages across several of my essential departments. Alicia is one of the first ones to step into any department to assist staff, from helping in our jury department with heavy trial days, working a customer service window to assist a full lobby of customers, e-filing late into the night, and even answering our child support main line. Alicia is our go-to person, and she serves as our expert in our court's case management system. She always leads by example, proving every day that she is just as comfortable troubleshooting a complex filing as she is managing high-level issues, policy making, or working directly with our Administrative Office of Courts on statewide enhancements to the court's case management system. Alicia has been a trusted and loyal manager and an exceptional employee for the court and our county. I thank you for your dedication, your expertise, and your unwavering commitment to the office of the Clerk of the Superior Court. We are so lucky to have you on our team. Congratulations on 20 years of service.
And of course, Alicia, you have a speech, right? What? I mean, 20 years you've had time to put it together.
Well, I do want to say thank you. It has been an amazing opportunity these last 20 years. I can't thank Rebecca and Odette. I will not leave our chief deputy out because they've been by my side the last 20 years, and I would not be here and where I'm at in my capacity if it wasn't for them. And I thank you all as well for the opportunities the last 20 years. This county has been good to me. I will say that. The raises and sabbaticals help. Thank you.
So that means 20 more, right?
What's it? And stick around because we'll be doing a picture at the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on our list to be acknowledged today is Robert Martinez. He's with our Development Services Department. He has been here in Pinal County for 20 years. And I believe we have Director Joe Ortiz.
That's not Joe.
Oh, that's not Joe.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Celeste Garza, I'm the Public Works Deputy Director, here to recognize Robert. Robert Martinez has 20 years of service with the county. He is a tremendous asset to this organization. He's always willing to go the extra mile. He works with developers and contractors through our traffic signals. He's our traffic signal go-to. They can be finicky at times, so he manages the on-call program, and he deals with some of those most challenging issues that we have. Robert began his career as a sign tech and worked his way up to a traffic signal technician. He, at the time, only maintained 6 traffic signals, and through his leadership, he's up to about 43. Wow. So he's very busy, and we just thank him for his service. In 2016, he also was recognized with the Robert C. Esterbrooks Award through the Arizona County Engineers Association. So he is recognized from all angles, and we appreciate his service to the community. So thank you, Robert.
No speech, but thank you for the appreciation.
Thank you. Next on our list, we have 3 employees of the Sheriff's Office. So if I may invite the Sheriff to come up and speak to acknowledge these employees. The first is Deputy Julio Alvias, and although he's not able to join us today, I think it's a reminder of the importance to thank all of those in law enforcement, those in patrol, our deputies, our detention officers, every time we have the opportunity, just in case we miss an opportunity like today. Sheriff.
Thank you, ma'am. I was just going to sum up the 3 of them together, and then I'll speak individually on Julio. All 3 of these individuals are such an asset to Pinal County as a whole. And ironically enough, all 3 of these professionals are private individuals, so they really appreciate this acknowledgement, but it's not something that they're normally going to come to because they prefer to be private individuals. Julio truly works to get the worst of the worst off the streets. He is a permanent member of our computer forensic lab. So when we get what we call CSAM, unfortunately, child sexual abuse material, that is what he's doing right now. And he has a real passion for that, like we all do, to get the truly evil people off the streets. So that's why he's not here today.
Thank you, Sheriff. And then also today, being recognized for 20 years of service is Sean Lennon, a detention officer with your office.
Yes, ma'am. 1449 started off as a detention officer, and then he became a deputy. He was Carlotta Class 99. He would especially appreciate if I told you, gentlemen of the board, thank you very much for the range deputy program. I truly believe that the reason that Sean is here past his 20 years is because he is just an outstanding asset to the range deputy. Every rancher knows him by name, and he's out there every day keeping our ranges safe and off-road vehicles properly licensed and equipped.
Thank you, Sheriff. I do see that Deputy Lennon was promoted in 2007. Thank you. And then the final deputy on our list is Daniel Pacheco, who has been with your office for 30 years.
And I was going to give a call out to our Hidden Valley resident that usually drives all the way over here, the 2 hours, to come to the meeting. She says it perfectly when there's not anyone in the western part of the county that doesn't know Deputy Dan by first name. He is truly a people's person, and he investigates every case he's ever been given. And the fact that he's still going strong after 30 years is a testament to his professionalism.
Thank you, Sheriff. Although these gentlemen have not joined us today, may I ask all of you to share a big round of applause, because we do have deputies in the back. And my hope is they'll carry the message how valued these 3 employees are and how valued you all are for serving our community. Thank you. Chairman?
Thank you. And now, picture time. Kevin, somewhere around, I think. If you folks that received your awards would please come down to the front, we'll get a picture.
Just a little bit. There you go. All right, everybody, big smiles. 3, 2. Nice. We're going to do it again. And. Come on, charge. And here we go. One more. Last chance. Smile big. 3, 2. Stand by. I have more trouble with this. Try one more just to see. Here we go. Big smile. 3, 2. There we go. All right. Thanks.
All right, next is item 7, Supervisor District Updates. I will start with Supervisor Vidiello.
Thank you, Chairman. Want to roll the video first? That would be nice, and then I'll say a little bit about it. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. Wow.
The Ralston project, the bridge pieces are being set. The roadway was kind of just set in place, but now the bridge is actually placed 100%.
Just think of all the work that took 6-7 months, even with all the rain, but still ahead of the project. We want to get this done sooner than later.
We got a lot of work to do. We're about 55% complete right now, but the major part of this is up to date now and starting to show progress. This is a major wash crossing right here. You can tell the difference from the original to now. Under those boxes that are placed right here, there's 496 Armaflex, which is locking cinder blocks that are under that material and that dirt. They're 2 feet below the grade that is there now. On top of that, there's over 100 archways that were placed here in the last couple weeks to make this bridge.
It's amazing how much work has been done in such a short period of time, even with the rain delay. This is a massive ongoing project. So when it flows, it's going to flow from here, and it can hit different tubes, so that way it breaks it up, opposed to just one big wash running into one on the other side.
Correct. With the water flow here, now it should come in. It'll actually channelize through all 4 channels rather than just cutting one side or the other of a wash. So what that does, it hits the rock and the erosion control that we actually place on the outside, which will actually control the water and kind of slow it down and distribute it across the wash until it channelizes down. Something like this does help with the actual erosion further downstream. And that's the goal of this job.
And the road itself will be 1 lane each way or expandable for 2 lanes each way in the future.
For now, it is going to be 1 lane each way. It'll match what's existing on the north and the south. But the width of this box here is for any future growth if we need to. We wouldn't want to have to come back and do this twice.
But that's how much work that went into this to build this, so that way we don't have to worry about it 20 years down the road. And that's what we're doing in Pinal County. We're thinking ahead to build ahead.
There's a lot to go into this, but this is a full-on bridge crossing for a major wash crossing. The residents are starting to see the full effect now, and now people are understanding why the year-long process and what goes into make a project like this. We're about 55%. It's already a big, big difference, but there's a lot more to come.
They want to get this job done under the date of July of this year, so that way people can get back to their normal lives. It's one team, one goal, and that's what I've seen out here.
So this project started last July, and it's really going to be a mass improvement, especially for public safety. There's times you can't even pass through that area on Ralston Road. This is going to be able to allow the horses and the animals to continue doing what they do day in and day out, and make sure that the residents of the area are able to cross over a bridge opposed to going through 2, 3, 4 feet of water. So I'm really honored and proud, especially for the people that have put all this work into it, and Kenny and the team. They've all done such a great job. Sunland has done a great job to try to get this project done ahead. We'll probably have a little bit of an announcement in about another 30 days to see when we're going to be able to finish this in less than a year. So thanks for that. Then, my office is always open. I'm there a lot except for Wednesdays. Obviously, I'm here. But I have constituents who constantly come in and talk about the 347. They want to know updates. They want to know what's going on. Now the newest thing that I'm going to be working on is the 347 South. That is a 2-lane road. It'll be expanded, obviously, 3 lanes from the city north. But with the possibility of 118,000 homes that can come into that area, we need to think ahead now, not 20 years from now, and worry about it. So we're working on that. I've actually spoken in front of ADOT twice already this year. We held a ADOT meeting, the first one of the year, in Maricopa, in the city of Maricopa. Then I had the Pinal partnership with some of my other board members we attended, and then also the Coolidge Workforce Development. Now, this has been excellent. It's a fully paid by the federal government. Basically, what it does is helps people get jobs. But we opened up a new office, actually, in Coolidge. And then, of course, the day after, I get phone calls, when are we opening up one in Maricopa? I was told that's going to be hopefully next. So, we'll see what happens there. Cell phone towers, all that. Jeff talked about that. That's his baby. We got to attend that. Then, like I said, we had the ADOT meeting and dinner in Maricopa. And then Monday, I was able to and honored to speak at the MLK Day in Coolidge. Literally 500-600 people. I don't even remember how big it was, but it was huge. We had all ages, kids, seniors, that came out to this and honored Martin Luther King, and I was honored to be able to speak there. And then last night in the city of Maricopa, they also did a MLK presentation. And again, I was there to be there and be proud to be part of that for the city of Maricopa. Thank you, Chairman.
You're welcome. Supervisor Surtee.
Yeah, excuse my raspy voice, but that's why we have microphones.
And by the way, we did this so he'd be quiet, got him sick.
Yeah. And I also want to thank Public Works for the very successful trash cleanup that they held in Gold Canyon. And this year, I believe they got 6 roll-offs worth of items that are too big to fit into people's dumpsters. So that really does a great service. We also do one in Queen Valley now, and in a lot of our districts, we have that available. I also want to thank some people that never get thanked enough, and they work just as hard as this board, and that is Planning and Zoning Commission. Several of us watched their whole session last week, and like I said, the diligence that they put in and the care that they put into their communities, it really, we are paying attention. A lot of times people, they think we're not, but yeah, tune in and watch what they do. A lot of the things that come before us, they get run through the ringer on that commission before it gets to us, and I truly appreciate what they do.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Miller, you got anything fun going on?
Yeah, just a couple of things. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My office also received, I think, District 3 had received this proclamation from Congressman Sistamonte. So it was sent to my office. I forgot to mention it last month, but anyway, I'll put it up here, and then if Natasha will take care of it, put it someplace where we can all see it. But I thanked him for recognizing our 150 years here in Pinal County. I'm the representative of LPC, the Legislative Policy Committee, representing Pinal County. It's just got underway. There's just a handful of stuff that we've reviewed this last week. We'll review some more tomorrow at the meeting. But if, with the chairman's permission and the clerk, I'd like to be able to have this posted part of the agenda each week, and people can literally go in and read each one of these if there's something that interests them as far as legislative.
That works for me, and we're bringing that back on the 4th of February.
Yeah. So when CSA supports something, understand that that's a supermajority of the 15 counties support it. It may not be your individual belief or thought, and you can certainly weigh in on when called to request to speak through the legislative policy or through the legislature. But this is what the counties are looking at, and then when we oppose things, or sometimes we oppose things as written, and there's where we're trying to ask for some change of language to make it more palatable. There's two bills that are out there that are not going to be signed by the governor if they were to pass, and they have to pass by a 2/3 vote of both the House and the Senate, and that's HCR 2001 and HCR 1001. They're mirror. They will go on the ballot if there's a 2/3 majority vote in both the House and the Senate. So we have some questions about it. We're opposing it as written, but there's a lot of other electeds that are looking at that, but that'll have to do with elections. So just kind of be aware of that. I think that's one that everybody's interested in. That's all I have for today.
Thank you, sir. Supervisor Goodman, I know you've always got something to say, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This Friday we have a breakfast that we sponsor every other month for the residents or for the stakeholders in our Santan Valley area in my district. This month on Friday, it'll be the new town council from Santan Valley that will be presenting, as well as their new town manager. In addition to that, we have our Public Works, and it's a good day for Public Works, isn't it? Good shout out to them. Tonight, Celeste will be presenting to the Santan Valley Council a lot of the road projects and different things that are going on currently within Santan Valley, kind of bring them up to speed. In addition to that, just so that I didn't get this on the agenda for a proclamation, but we're working on that for the next go-around, but it is Anti-Human Trafficking Month. And I think that's important that we recognize and we realize that it's still an ongoing problem here in our country and especially in our state, that we need to actively be involved in helping to stop this. That's all I've got at this point. Thank you.
All right, thank you. From my district, let's see. Monday, the 26th, next Monday, I've got a presentation going on at the Saddlebrook Desert View Theater from 4:30 to 6 o'clock for the Saddlebrook Bike Loop. We're attempting to extend the bike loop from Tucson and Oro Valley up into Pinal County, up by Biosphere and all the way back down to let all the cyclists be able to zoom around without getting run over by cars. That'd be nice. Wednesday the 28th, we have the State of the County, also at the Desert View Theater from 10 to 12 in Saddlebrook. We'll have quite a few folks there from the county to present. Supervisor Vitiello mentioned the towers, the BEAD network, the broadband, some acronym, but BEAD anyway. It has to do with getting internet connectivity to folks that could otherwise not receive it. There's a lot of areas where fiber optics has gone out, and that's the mid-mile. It's gone out to all these areas, but the last mile where it gets to homes or to certain entities is difficult in some cases, not economically feasible to run it down a 2-mile road to serve 1 or 2 homes. So a survey was done years ago. This is federal funds, by the way. Survey was done years ago to see what areas needed access points for this type of communication, and there were 32 areas of interest put around the county, all on school or on county property. There is one in the town of Mammoth that will go to serve to increase internet connectivity, and that is underway now. We should be done with those towers by the end of the year. They're all 40 feet tall. We were just at the groundbreaking for one in Eloy at the Toltec Elementary School the other day. And that's all that I have, and thank you very much. With that, we'll move on to item number 8, which is the updates related to the Elections Department and the County Recorder. And Ms. Lewis, I know you're floating. There you are. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman McClure, Vice Chair Surdy, members of the board, Dana Lewis, Pinal County Recorder. I would like to state for the record that the presentation you're about to see has been presented to the clerk and added to the agenda. And this is our MOU update. We'll go over for 2025 the recording statistics of the department, voter outreach highlights, the Pinal Votes Tours, election department highlights, and then, of course, information regarding the 2026 election schedule. Of course, the Pinal County Recorder's Office is responsible for the recordation of official documents and historical information. I think it's important because not only do we have the facility here at Building E in the county complex, but we also have 4 satellite offices. So it's very important for members of the community to understand why we have the satellite offices and the weight of responsibilities that occur in those different regions as well. We currently have the Recorder's Notification Service. It was established several years ago and then mandated by law. We had 13,548 sign up or are currently signed up with in 2025. This is great. It was about a 50% increase from the previous year. However, when we have over 300,000 registrants, that number of 13,000 is under 5%. This process allows for the information of when a document is recorded against a property, that owner is to be informed of that. When we only have 5% of our registrants signed up for that, we can do better. So hoping to do some PSAs in the future, again, how easy it is to sign up for the recordation notification service. The information here shows how much have increased, and then, of course, the emails that we sent out every month letting them know. We recorded over 105,000 documents in 2025. If you figure there's 250 business days in a year, that averages at about 400 documents every day that we are recording. We're not as big as Maricopa County, but as you know, Pinal County is one of the fastest growing counties in the United States. And so we're going ahead and staying aligned with that. That was a 10% increase from 2024. And most of our recordation does come in from e-recordings.
That's it.
That was it, right? Recordings by year. And want to talk about public records requests. So we had 375 public records requests come in, and of course you see a brunt of these are from the recording offices. However, it would be neglectful for me not to admit that under our voter reg and elections department, we're currently several weeks behind on PRRs. Our ability to run advanced searches through the Avid system was removed from our access without notice. We're about 3 weeks behind on that. The Secretary of State is currently in litigation with the Department of Justice, and so removed that ability from us. We have been communicating with them on the daily, trying to find out when that situation will be resolved so we can be of better service to our voters. Website activity, of course, wanting to make sure that we're letting you guys know that we appreciate our IT department and how many people then do those ticks on the recorder's website and then also on our elections website. The voter services summary shows you, again, we have 323,794 voters in Pinal County. When we're talking about growth in the county and we're talking about precinct-based voting and all that, it's really important to realize that this was a 10% increase from 2024. That's huge. Customer service via phone, again, when we have different satellite offices and knowing how many calls are coming in. And then we're also having the assistance of the Citizen Contact Center, especially during Election Day. 3,202 of those were fielded by the CCC. The amount of emails we field, we like graphs. And of course, we pride ourselves in our amazing customer service under the Office of the Recorder. And if you see all of these, it's over, 90% are all positive with their interaction with our department. Of course, you always can't make everybody happy all of the time, but we do note that. And then we go back to that staff and see what happened in that situation. Accuracy. We love accuracy and transparency. We don't allow for anything to go under 97%. In the event it does, we would go and continue our ongoing training. One of the most awesome things that we've done recently is we have the ability to talk in real time when recording a document with satellite offices. This way, we're able to increase that accuracy rate. Events and participation. Not only is the Office of the Recorder responsible for the recordation, but also early voting, elections, and voter registration, and the outreach and education of voters in our county. We had 76 voter outreach events. Over 3,000 of them reached individuals in those communities. Approximately 48 people at each event. We were able to send out 139 voter registration forms at that time, and we were able to get 35 poll worker applications as well. Geographic breakdown of the different communities that we've been out in the field with. And again, in 2026, we have the event in Lost Dutchman. We have the Pinal County Fair. We'll be at all of these different situations and events, making sure that the voters are aware of the upcoming elections and how they can be informed and involved. Voter outreach goals for 2026. Of course, we're going to continue our outreach in some of our rural communities, areas like Superior, Eloy, Arizona City. We don't have satellite offices there, and they're a little bit off the beaten path, so we'll be continuing to be at their library events. We have embarked on an amazing youth engagement activity. We've had several of the schools come out to our location for tours. We've been able to sign up many poll workers that are students, and we're going to continue on that initiative. We've also realized that some of the libraries, they don't have our handouts in anything but English. So for the RNS system and how to vote 101 in Pinal County, we are going to put out some Spanish language materials, and then are going to ensure that with our Candidly on our elections website, people can be easier to sign up for our voter education work groups and our online resources. Tours and logistics. Well, when Pinal County embarked on the fantastic, amazing votes facility, it doesn't work if people don't know it exists or that there's ballot drop boxes there or what goes on behind all of those glass walls. So we've been working with the schools, been working with community engagement events, and then even I think it's the Mormon Women's and Ethical Governance came out and did a tour with us. So we definitely love to have people come into our areas, understand what we do, and ask the hard questions. They can sign up at our website, and they get to go behind the scenes. But what was really awesome is we started taking surveys before those tours. So people come into the office, they sit down, they get this beautiful briefing and presentation, they take a survey, then they go on the tour. They ask the questions. We explain the process, the difference between being a vote center or being precinct-based, why our envelopes look different than, say, Maricopa's envelopes. They ask all of these questions. And then we come back to the training area, and then we do another survey. And what's really great is not only do we get the groups of ages, demographics, and resident area who are attending these, we've started comparing results. Trustworthy and transparency in elections is imperative to the democratic process. And after somebody comes for a tour at our facility, the increase of how they feel about the electoral process increases usually by over 20%. So we have lots of surveys talking about all of the different things about how we increased that trust in our processes in Pinal County. Conclusion, did it help you after you did the tour understand our process? 89% of the people say yes. What's new in the elections department? Well, for those of you who know, when you're sitting in these seats, you have to get your presentation materials to the clerk of the board, usually about a week ahead of time. And in my world, things move on the daily. So we did send out the envelope survey. We did a short PSA explaining the envelopes. In the early voting process, when you receive a ballot by mail, we have the yellow carrier envelope, we have the white affidavit envelope, we have all of the guts that go in there, like your ballot and your instruction sheet, but then we have an envelope for you to return your ballot. We're asking you, do you want that extra envelope? Do you want your signature to be safeguarded? Or would you rather save time and money and get rid of that envelope? That's not for me to decide. That's for the people of the community to decide. So we put out a survey for that. We're asking that surveys please be completed by the 31st of January so we can start putting those numbers together. All of the members of the Elections and Recorder's Office have received their election officer certification or recertification training. We've also implemented the new MODIS system that is our poll worker database. We have onboarded the new poll pads, and we are really impressed. The ES&S 6.5 upgrade for the tabulation equipment is in the process. Again, this was something the Board of Supervisors approved and then had somebody from IT there to watch that entire process for transparency purposes. and the revision of our standard operating procedures. We are in our second edition of over 500 pages of desktops, and we're also first time making sure on the recording side of things we also have desktops. So we've done it for voter reg, we've done it for early voting, we've done it for elections, now we're doing it on the recorder side in addition to our indexing processes. I may have missed something I need to talk to you guys about. So there's litigation going on, like you guys don't know. And recently, the AIP party went to the courts to ask for to be named as a defendant and pretty much prolong that process with the courts. The court came back and said no. They can respond back to the Secretary of State's office, but we're going to keep moving that train down. In speaking with the LPC, the Legislative Policy Councils for the ACO, we are watching the HCR 2001 and 1001. We did ask for amended language on that. There are some things that just because of timelines don't make sense for us in the election administration world, but are moving on that rather fast. And these are your election dates for 2026. It would be remiss of me not to point out that right now we show the primary election as still being August 4th. However, there is pressing legislation that is on the floor today, actually, about moving the primary date up 1 week. It would be the last Tuesday of July, and so testimony will be heard today on the legislative floor. As always, I stand for questions.
Certainly a lot of information at rapid speed, as usual. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions? No. Thank you for all your work, and thank you for all
Thank you, members.
the work that you've done in the Elections Department, putting procedure manuals together. I know that was a big issue 4 years ago, and I know that we've worked hard on that, so thank you.
Chairman, thank you for recognizing the amazing staff that we have in those departments. They have worked tirelessly to make sure that we're on top of that. We're staying abreast of all the legislative changes that happen every session and making sure we're putting that enactful into policy. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Appreciate it. Next up, we have discussion, approval, disapproval of the proclamation to designate the week of January 2026 through January 31st, 2026 as, here we go, Medical Legal Death Investigator Professionals Week in honor of the public service provided by the Pinal County Medical Examiner's Office. And I have Andre Davis. Good morning, sir.
All right, good morning, Chairman McClure, Vice Chairman Surdy, members of the board. I'm Andre Davis. I am the division manager with the County Medical Examiner's Office. First, I want to thank you for allowing this opportunity to recognize our investigative staff in this public forum. As you know, to say that this office has come a long way in the past 10 years is a gross understatement. We are now only the fourth fully accredited office in the state of Arizona by the National Association of Medical Examiners, and we still maintain the highest number of board-certified investigators in the state. We've gained regional recognition for our educational programs, including our monthly death investigation seminars, which are offered to our law enforcement partners. And we are thankful for your support during this evolution. None of these achievements, however, would have been possible without the efforts of our investigative staff. I found a quote from Sir William Gladstone in which he stated that, "Show me the manner in which a nation cares for its dead, and I will measure with mathematical exactness the tender mercies of its people, their respect for the laws of the land, and the loyalty to high ideals." While their efforts are often overshadowed by those of our law enforcement partners, these men and women have the difficult task of investigating deaths within Pinal County's borders 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and they do so with unwavering dedication, compassion, and sense of duty that exemplifies the words that were expressed by Sir Gladstone. It's been the honor of my career to lead such a dedicated, knowledgeable, and productive team that has accomplished so much in such a relatively short amount of time. To Investigation Supervisor Susie Dope, Investigator Dr. Courtney Copenhaver-Astrom, Investigator Bailey Seppelt, Investigator Brianna McGinnis, Investigator Jacoby Brox, Investigator Robin Lindquist, Investigator Emily Kackelhofer, Investigator Victoria Ortland, and Investigator Valentina Lopez. Thank you for your service to the community, your professionalism, and for setting the standard of excellence for what it is to be a medical legal investigator in the state of Arizona. With that.
Well, thank you, Mr. Davis, and we'll vote. We'll vote, and then you can read the proclamation. So hold just a second. Board, may I get a motion, please, on this item?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve item number 9 as presented.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you very much, Board. Mr. Davis, please read the proclamation.
Yes, sir. Whereas the Pinal County Medical Examiner's Office is an independent agency serving the county's citizens and honoring the deceased by investigating the circumstances under which deaths occur within Pinal County and contracted neighboring counties. And whereas the Pinal County Medical Examiner's Office is one of 4 medical examiner's offices in the state of Arizona, fully accredited by the National Association of Medical Examiners. Whereas the Medical Examiner's Office employs the highest number of board-certified medical legal death investigators in the state of Arizona, ensuring that citizens are served by qualified and experienced medical legal investigators who are capable of performing knowledgeable, comprehensive, and compassionate investigations into the deaths of our citizens and visitors. And whereas these professionals represent the decedents, their families, and the community to ensure that suspicious, violent, unattended, unexplained, and unexpected deaths are investigated and that the cause and manner determined. And whereas with emphasis on ethical, qualified, and independent and thorough death investigations, medical legal death investigators have established themselves as an indispensable component of the public health and law enforcement systems, effectively speaking for those who can no longer speak for themselves. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Pinal County Board of Supervisors, the members of the Pinal County Board of Supervisors, by this proclamation, recognize the week of January 25th through January 31st, 2026, as National Medical Legal Death Investigator Week, in honor of the public service of the Pinal County Medical Examiner's Office and the medical legal investigators, proclaim this 21st day of January 2026.
And could we get a picture with your crew down here?
I would love it.
Okay, thank you. Picture time.
Yes, sir. Okay, I'll move.
Go ahead. Come over. There you go. All right. Everybody, happy big smile. 3, 2. Nice. We're going to do it again. Big smile. Literally fresh batteries. Hold it closer. There it goes. Okay, here we go. Big smile. 3, 2. One more, because it'll go this side. 3, 2. Right. Remember, this used to work once upon a time. I'm going to do it one more time and say 3, 2. There we go. There we go.
Did I get a motion to approve a new battery for Kevin's camera? There were. Okay.
Budget, would you?
As a budget item, I'll have to bring that up. Oh, and then speaking of that, next we've got the Purchasing Division report. I believe Ms. Gorman is here to give that. At the end, just write in batteries for Kevin's camera.
Good morning, Chairman, Vice Chairman, Board of Supervisors. Tracy Gorman, Purchasing Manager for Pinal County. This is the Purchasing Division report for January 21st, 2026. In this report, the Board is requested to approve one contract amendment for RFP 200935 for the Dudleyville Transfer Station Operator. In addition, we are recommending the Board approve two contract amendments to extend contract terms for ROQ 243629 for engineering design of the East-West Corridor and RFP 251730 for court-ordered evaluations. We are requesting the Board approve one competition impracticable over $100,000 per Procurement Code Section PC 1-502. And lastly, there are three cooperative purchasing agreements we would like to notify you of, as they are between $100,000 and $250,000. I will stand for questions.
Are there any questions from the Board? Hearing none, may I get a motion, please?
Chairman, I make a motion to approve item 10, the Purchasing Division, as written.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Gorman. Have a great, and get Kevin's batteries, please.
Yeah.
Okay, and item 11, consent items. All items indicated alphabetically below will be handled by a single vote as part of the consent agenda unless a board member, county manager, or member of the public objects at the time the agenda item is called. I have a request from Ms. Lewis to pull item L, and I have a request from Mr. Stevenson, Mr. Jerry Stevenson, to pull item G. Are there, I'll let you catch up, L and G. Are there any other items that the board wishes to pull? Hearing none, county management. Hearing none, public. Any items? Sir. N is in Nancy. All right. And are there any other items? Hearing none. Board, may I get a motion, please, on items A through P minus L, G, and N?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve items A through P minus G, L, and N.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 You don't have to yell. Just,
Oh. He's always telling me, speak up. Maybe they've adjusted this mic.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you very much. We will start with item L. Ms. Lewis.
Chairman McClure, Vice Chair Sturdy, members of the board, Dina Lewis, Pinal County Recorder. We are requesting that item L be pulled from the agenda at request from Jen Hillsboss, the party chair for the Dems. Mr. Dill is running for JP, and it is not appropriate underneath the ethical standards.
So we're withdrawing.
Absolutely,
There we
sir.
go. Okay. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, hearing none. May I get a motion on item L, please?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we withdraw item number L.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Mr. Stevenson, I saw you out there. You are. I saw you out there a while ago. Please come and ask your question about item G, please, or tell us why.
I'm Jerry Stevenson, president of Gold Canyon Community, Inc. Chairman McClure, Vice Chairman Sturdy, members of the board. I'd like some more information from staff on this one. This is just a very significant item. It's going to be development, open up the superstitions, and we wanted to understand, when people cycle down there, walk down there, the marathon happens, a little bit more about how it's designed. And I know that's a little premature, but we're getting land. If we need more land, now's the time to ask it. So if I could ask Celeste or Joe to amplify on the design, that would really help me.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ortiz or Ms. Garza, are you out there someplace? There you are.
Good morning, Chairman. Celeste Garza, Public Works Deputy Director. Item G is a amendment to an assignment of right-of-way that we have for the State Land Department on Peralta Road. This extends 28 acres, another 15 acres up to 43 acres. So it's about a 6-mile corridor of right-of-way that we're perfecting. Currently, there is no existing right-of-way in certain locations. This will provide for 60 feet for the 6.1 miles up to the trailhead. Part of the reason we're going through this process is for the grant that we received. So back in 2020, we were awarded a federal lands grant in order to pave the Peralta Road alignment from US 60 up to the trailhead. This is part of our cost share in that grant agreement that's written and approved by the board. So it's basically just providing for right-of-way that will provide these paved improvements. There are no multimodal enhancements with the project. It's simply paving and all-weather access that gets to the regional park and gets to the trailhead at the moment. It's about a $22 million project as it sits today with none of those enhancements at the moment. Happy to answer any questions you might have. Or
Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none. Mr. Stevenson, does that answer your question?
Thanks, Celeste. I love working with the staff team because they do such a good job. Where we were heading was there's going to be a lot of people who are going to want to cycle there. I know you talked about Oracle and your areas. And the same here. We've got a lot of people who are younger than we are and are healthy and want to do that. And there's a lot of opportunity to see intermediate stops along there. If you want to go out and have a picnic or something, we have a park, but it's so you've got the spine, and now's the time to be planning trails and connecting to, especially the park. That's a big resource, and at Santan, you've got a rich connectivity for residents and stuff. So I think the planning of that, not to take away from the work that's done here, but more to suggest that more work has to be done for people access. So I'll just leave it at that unless there's any questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Garza, is there anything to add to that while you're still there?
One thing I do want to mention is I had a chance to sit with Scott Hamilton, the Parks Director, Open Space and Parks Director. He did mention that in this fiscal year's budget, there is a plan to update the Parks Master Plan. So I believe, hopefully, that will find some solutions to accessing some of those parks that surround the superstitions. So just some information for you.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you. So we are looking into all those things. Okay. So with that, may I get a motion on item G, please?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve item G as read.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Look at that. Okay. Those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Item N, Mr. Coward, you have, in as in Nancy. Mr. Coward, you have a question. Don't take that long. Don't look at your watch.
Just see if it's morning or afternoon. Good morning, supervisors. My name is Dave Coward from Gold Canyon, representing GCCI. I don't really have anything to speak against this item, but I just want to know that we have in Gold Canyon been requesting additional resources for traffic enforcement in Gold Canyon. It's a real problem along some of our major arteries. And we just hope that the effort in N does not distract or take resources away from our community. So that's just our concern on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sheriff Teeple, did you have anything to add to this? Thank you, Mr. Coward.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Pinal County, I appreciate his concern, and I appreciate him bringing to us about the traffic enforcement, and we'll be on that. This is, I was going to explain that this is like SWAT. We have members from different law enforcement agencies around the county that all contribute to SWAT, because what they do, they need to learn to, as a team, train as a team. This is the same thing. Our vehicle crimes unit is members from other agencies, so they all learn together. Think about the drunk driver that was driving on a suspended license that just caused that accident that killed 3 people. That's capital murder times 3. We want trained investigators that are able to document the scene, so that when that is a murder trial as prosecuted by the county attorney, that, we have the resources for that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Coward, does that answer your question or your concern? Thank you. With that, board, may I get a motion, unless there's other questions, may I get a motion on this item, please? Item N.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve item N as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you very much. That concludes consent agenda. We have now, I'm going to recess the Board of Supervisors regular meeting to convene the Pinal County Public Health Services District Board, just like that. And Ms. Mendoza, are you here, or is it? I think I saw, there you are. Did you have anything to add to this?
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. We just have consent items this morning.
Okay, thank you.
So
I'm
here
sorry,
for
I was being.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go. So on this agenda, all items indicated alphabetically below will be handled by a single vote as part of the consent agenda, unless a board member, county manager, or member of the public objects at the time the agenda item is called. We have item A through A. So, are there any questions from the board? County management, public. Hearing and seeing none, may I get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion on item A as read for the public health services.
As read, or is it?
As approve as read.
As presented.
Presented.
Thank you, just to make sure. Okay, so I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. I will now adjourn the Public Health Services District Board of Directors meeting and reconvene the Board of Supervisors regular meeting. Like that. And we will now go to call to the public. Call to the public is the time period for members of the public to address the Board of Supervisors to provide public input relating to subject matter within the Board of Supervisors' authority and jurisdiction. Those wishing to address the Board of Supervisors need not request permission in advance. Action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter or rescheduling it to further consideration and decision at a later date. And when you come up, please indicate your name and generally where you live. And just as a reminder, the board can only respond to criticism if a name is called, and ask the staff to study the matter, request placement on a future agenda at the conclusion of the public comments. And I have a whole list of things. Quite a few. Just for reference, you have 3 minutes, and I will be tight on the 3 minutes because it looks like this will be like an hour's worth of conversation at the very least. No conversation, but first of all, I have Ms. McCutcheon, Cheryl McCutcheon.
Morning, Cheryl McCutcheon, Queen Creek, 36314, North Secret Garden Path.
Merriam-Webster dictionary defines fascism as a regime that exalts nation and often race above the individual. It mentions a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader and forcible suppression of oppression. My father grew up in Nazi Germany, and when I see masked men without identification sent by the leader to harass citizens, it reminds me of the brown shirts he told me about. I heard earlier in this meeting that our association with ICE is not new, but I'd still like to take this opportunity to ask that you discourage ICE involvement in our community. Immigration is an important part of our past and future. Let's encourage pathways to legal immigration and instead of spending our tax dollars on harassment and hate. Thank you.
No.
Come out.
You will be removed if that continues. Deputies, thank you. All right. Mr. Arlen Trout.
Yeah, I've given copies of my statement here, submitted to the board. There was a massive fire in Gold Canyon last night. A rim circle mansion burned for hours. It was a sad, spectacular fire that kept re-emerging in uncontrollable sections. This has everything to do with Trout versus Russell and the building permits that Pinal County officials have issued to favor extravagant development. In Trout versus Russell, the court held land developers and the county in contempt and sanctioned them for issuing fraudulent building permits and maliciously defying court orders. This dispute has cost taxpayers over $4 million, with the matter still running. Now we are watching the same reckless pattern play out. Systems not in place. Why did a house less than a minute from the fire station burn for hours? How many other homes in this canyon were permitted under the same practices as Trout versus Russell? Now, on January 7th, Renee Good was shot and killed by ICE agents in Minnesota. The streets in the U.S. and around the world are filling with outraged protesters. Now you are being asked to approve new ICE agreements while you are still questioning whether the last ICE agreement was even authorized or legal. The county is being pulled deeper into federal enforcement. Elected officials are exposing residents, employees, and taxpayers to escalating conflict that are costing lives and triggering lawsuits across the country. We have already seen the pattern in Trout versus Russell. Officials ignore court orders and criminal violations, hire lawyers, lose in court, and shift the bill and legal burdens to taxpayers. Before this county expands cooperation with ICE, the board should stop and fully disclose the legal and safety consequences of these agreements. It is increasing risk and liability for everyone who lives here. I'm asking this board to put public safety, legal accountability, and transparency ahead of politics and to stop expanding ICE cooperation on agenda items 3 and 4. Demand ICE leave Pinal County until these risks are honestly addressed in public. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Trout. Karen Oliver.
Thank you, Board of Supervisors, for hearing me today. My name is Karen Oliver. I live in Pecan Creek South in Santan Valley. Today I'm speaking from a place of a mother's rage. Last night I got home after midnight because I needed to watch my daughter's children while her husband took her to the hospital with a stress-related illness. She and her 4 children have witnessed ICE activity at the Santan Valley Library. She's seen the news and she's seen her mom go on morning patrols to help protect vulnerable workers. She wants her kids to live in the quiet, safe Santan Valley that existed just a short time ago. And if that isn't enough, her insurance is not reliable because the mess of the federal government has made of the ACA. No mom in America should endure this level of anxiety at the hands of her government. In addition, I've been tailgated by PCSO. My friends have been followed by ICE and PCSO workers, and workers are frightened. Another family member of mine lost their landscaper to an ICE abduction. And a liquor bottle was thrown at a friend of mine in Pinal County with minimal response from PCSO when she called for help. I'm collecting groceries for people afraid to go to the store because it feels illegal to be brown and drive in Pinal County. My mom is afraid to walk to the store. We're both horrified to see Sheriff Teeple's video mocking people he has sworn to protect. That behavior from elected officials is appalling. It's embarrassing for the county. The Arizona statutes and American Constitution seem to work only for some people. The fact that you would consider working with ICE in our county is at best frustrating to many constituents. People are struggling and fearful. This police action is affecting my family's health. Pinal County no longer feels safe for me and my family. As a community leader at Queen Creek Santan Valley Indivisible, I'll speak for the record. We do not like our county like we like our water with lots of ice. We want well-trained, uniformed, identifiable ICE officers doing their job professionally, showing respect to our community members, and to leave our neighborhoods alone. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Podolsky.
My statement is on the record.
Thank you.
My name is Dea Podolsky, and I live in unincorporated Pinal County near Lost Dutchman State Park. During the last call to the public in 2025, I hoped for a Christmas miracle that would bring peace on earth and goodwill to men. It didn't happen. In fact, the world seems even more fractured and violent today. We have become accustomed to and accepting of violence. There are many forms of violence, but I'm going to speak about something that I have direct experience with, school shootings. I started teaching before the shooting at Columbine High School, before shelter-in-place drills were commonplace. In the time between 2009 to 2018, there were 288 school shootings in the United States. I left teaching by then. The nearest country to the United States was Mexico, and it had 8. But the closest I ever came to a school shooting was on May 30th, 2023, in Belgrade, Serbia. It was Serbia's first and only school shooting. My husband and I were sitting on a bus waiting for a day of touring when frantic people began running from the bus, down the street, from the bus. They were fleeing a nearby school. A 13-year-old student had killed 9 students and a security guard. That night, Lee and I went to the vigil. The difference between this and its counterparts in the United States was apparent. The Serbians did not know the formula. No one was in charge. It was disorganized. It was a reminder of how this type of violence is too common here. I'm not going to talk about attitudes toward guns or gun laws as a cause of the huge difference in number of shootings between us and other countries. I'm going to talk about a culture that normalizes and often glorifies violence, where human life is not seen as sacred, where too many are comfortable with an us versus them dichotomy. We must create spaces where people with different views can meet and begin to build relationships. Pinal County has the resources to do this. It has a county school structure, it has school boards, it has libraries, and all of you have district meetings. You might also tap into Sheriff Teeple. I watched Unlocked. We must start seeing each other as more than stereotypes. Listening and seeing others is a first step. There is a difference between opinions and core values. I have an opinion on Grunewald. But an opinion you can be changed, it can be modified. Core values are not that point. We need to begin by talking about opinions. Just for the record, my core values are we are all children of God. Empathy is not evil. Words matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle Caldwell.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Caldwell. I'm a resident of Santan Valley for the last 16 years. I'm a community observer with the Queen Creek Santan Valley Indivisible with help from the People First Project. And the Santan Valley Indivisible Observers is basically a small group of grandmas armed only with cameras. We've seen what's happening in Minneapolis and Chicago and around the country, and we're recording to hold law enforcement accountable and hopefully to get the detainees' name and age so we can let their loved ones know where they are. We do not taunt, we do not antagonize law enforcement in any way, but we're still met with belligerence and hostility. To stay farther back than the 8 feet that is our constitutional right. And like I said, we do not taunt. We don't. It's against what we do. There seems to be a concern with the deputies that we are trying to dox them. But when we're recording, we are not live streaming. We do not put it on social media unless, of course, we saw abuses of the detainee. But we do not do that. We're not trying to dox anybody. We are simply trying to protect our community members. As a resident of Pinal County for the last 16 years, I now feel unsafe from the very people that were hired to keep us safe. And speaking now is likely putting a bigger target on my back. But I will still speak, and my voice is shaking, but I'm still going to speak. Speaking with many community members of Hispanic and Latino descent, and frankly, anybody that has skin other than white, regardless of citizenship, people are feeling very unsafe. They're not going to work. They're not feeling safe to take their kids to school. They're not feeling safe to go to the grocery store. So, like Karen said, we're collecting groceries and personal items to be able to take to those people. I'm really interested to see the statistics of brown versus white people being pulled over in Pinal County these last couple of months, especially when only 30% of the population is of Hispanic or Latino descent. We've seen with our own eyes in the mornings the last couple of weeks since the last board meeting. It seems to have died down for a minute, but we've seen over and over and over brown people in work trucks on the sides of roads all over Pinal County.
Thank you.
So thank you for your time.
Holly Martinez.
Good morning, members of the board and Clerk Kennedy. My name is Holly Martinez. I am a resident of Pinal County and also live in Santan Valley. I am also a disabled student at CAC Central Arizona College, home of the Vaqueros, a community aficionado. I have handed a packet of my testimony, and I also have my father up here to hold the visuals. A picture of my grandfather, Celedon Martinez, who is a World War II veteran who fought for the very rights this board is sworn to protect. He spent 40 years of his life building over 27 locations of the Santa Fe Railroad on this soil. My family isn't just from Arizona. We built this foundation. I'm here today because the foundation is cracking. I'm extremely low-income resident with an ultra-rare bone disease. In exactly 8 days, I will undergo a total jaw reconstruction. I'm fighting for my life while Pinal County chooses to fund enforcement over housing. I am formally stating my extreme disapproval of the 287 agreement. On December 16th, we saw kidnapping of residents at Banner Ironwood, a site meant for healing. My grandfather didn't fight in World War II so that my neighbors could be detained without warrants in hospital parking lots. The Gestapo environment doesn't make us safer. It makes medically fragile people like myself afraid to seek care. Because Pinal County lacks specialty oncology, I travel 40 miles to Maricopa County. This travel is physically exhausting and financially impossible for an ELI resident. But I'm not just here to complain. I'm here with a solution. Pinal County currently offers 0 Section 811 PRA units for disabled. I am proposing a Halls of Healing pilot program by utilizing Senate Bill 1080. This board can repurpose closed, under-ruralized schools, buildings into medical accessible ELI eligibility house near our medical hubs. Behind my grandfather's photo or included, I did have a petition, and then also you'll find the policy brief list and some signatures of the constituents who support this vision. Under Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, you have a federal obligation to ensure your housing is accessible. Choose care over corporate greed. Honor the veterans who built this county by housing their descendants instead of hunting them. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
We're not able to respond, just as...
Okay, I'll just...
Next up is Barry McCain, who is not in the room. I will pass that for the moment. So, okay, we'll go on with Elizabeth Lee. Oh, Mr. McCain, there you are.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Barry McCain. I'm from Maricopa County originally, but now in Maricopa City. I was very fortunate to grow up with 2 heroes. One was Eddie Basha Sr., one that opened up the Bashas all over the state. And the other one was Stan Turley. Stan Turley was the only Speaker of the House and President of the Senate in Arizona's history. Both of them were well known for showing kind and compassion, and I'm very thankful to have been able to be raised with them. We have the candidate integrity. We're going to have to do this because of the cabal we have in Maricopa, the city. I've addressed it before. I'm looking forward to taking care of this because if it wasn't for the integrity in the candidate, it destroys the entire system that we call a republic. So I look forward to Mr. Miller, and thank you for everything that you're doing. I expect to see all 4 of you, Mr. Surdy, Mr. McClure, Mr. Goodman, Mr. Miller, at State Capitol, taking care of our people. Thank you.
Thank you. Elizabeth Lee, I believe.
Hi, Mr. Chairman, Supervisors. Thank you for the time. My name is Elizabeth Lee. While I live in Maricopa County, I'm here today as a candidate for federal office for a district that includes parts of Pinal County, and I wanted to share with you some concerns that I've been hearing from the community regarding the 287G agreement. Now, I think it's very important to say very clearly that all of our communities deserve to live in safe neighborhoods. We all want violent criminals off our streets, we all want secure borders, and we all want immigration laws enforced the right way by the right agencies and with clear accountability. That's exactly why this agreement is the wrong tool. 287G pulls Pinal County into a federal mission that is not our job, it's not our budget, and it's not our liability to assume. It turns local resources into an arm of federal enforcement, which creates three very serious problems. The first is taxpayer risk. This agreement is not free. It means training, supervision requirements, time spent on immigration holds, transport, paperwork, the list goes on. These costs don't show up as a neat line item at first. They show up later as overtime, staffing shortages, delayed investigations, and civil exposures. I know I don't want to see Pinal County taxpayers holding the bag for a federal function. Second, it makes us feel less safe by diverting resources from real threats. Our local investigators should be focused on crimes that hurt Pinal County families, like trafficking, fentanyl distribution, domestic violence, child exploitation. And if we have limited bandwidth, we should be using it where it saves the most lives. The third problem here is that this agreement undermines trust and cooperation, which hurts both policing and prosecutions. So when victims and witnesses are afraid that a traffic stop, a report, a trip to the hospital, or a trip to the courthouse could involve immigration questioning, they stop talking, they stop calling, and they disappear. That makes it harder to solve crimes, harder to prosecute offenders, and easier for predators to operate. I also want to raise a basic governance issue. This agreement was signed without the public process and the clarity that the residents of this county deserve. So I'm asking you today to direct County Council to provide a public and written legal analysis of who has the authority to bind operations under 287. I ask you to require a full cost and liability assessment, including staffing impact and overtime risk, and to suspend and withdraw participation until those above items are completed. We can support law enforcement and secure our communities without instilling fear in them.
All right. Next is Marie McHugh. Oh, there you are.
Thank you, Board of Supervisors. I'm a resident of Maricopa County.
And by the way, just your name for the record.
Oh, Marie McHugh, sorry. I'm a resident of Maricopa County, and I visit Pinal County. I have friends, family, and I go, to businesses and so on. It's been brought to my attention with us all talking about the 287G agreement. I don't know why we keep going back to the fact that this has been around for forever. It's been around since 2007, which, but all I'm saying is just because it's been around for a while doesn't mean that it can't be revisited, that we can find other solutions instead of everything that's going on right now, what we've already heard, all of our concerns. I'm really concerned about, for one, inhumane treatment in detention centers. In 2005, we had 3 human beings that lost their lives while in detention. They were very young. They're ages 32, 45, and 58. I think this is horrible. I hate to say this word, but some of the actions that are being used by these ICE agents are almost like I feel like I'm in Nazi Germany. No one feels like they can trust the law enforcement because of this. I've even gone around Pinal County and I've spoken to a lot of businesses, And they're really concerned because they're losing money. People are afraid to show up there at businesses. I've gone to even like construction workers, like at new build communities, and just talking to some of them, contractors are like, I had 3 people taken yesterday, I had 5 the day before, and this shouldn't even be happening because these communities are private property, and they should not even be conducting this business the way they're doing by snatching and taking people. I myself intend on legally documenting any situations where people are being profiled, kidnapped, or abducted in Pinal County. And I thought the Conservative Party was a party of less government. Why ICE then? Why all the cameras, flat camera systems? Why LVT monitoring systems? Flagstaff, they went ahead and they got rid of all those flat cameras. They said that enough is enough. They were sick and tired of their community being just constantly monitored and living in fear. Lastly, the public comments that Sheriff Teeple makes on the internet, I'm appalled. I just was trying to go around and navigate on Facebook. I just looked him up, and I'm watching the videos, and they're horrible.
Thank you. I have one comment here from George. There's no last name, but I'll assume that's you. If you could please state your name and last name as well, please.
Of course, yes. My name is George Rascon, 85144, and may I start by saying there is no such thing as an illegal human being. This is kind of the language that is violent and dehumanizes people. Okay? And even now, seeing you all sometimes rolling your eyes, not paying attention to, is disrespectful because you're listening to community. And may I remind you that you're all public servants. I am a life member of this community. I have living in this unincorporated Santa Valley for the past over 20 years, where it feels like the Board of Supervisors governs to us, not with us. Barely are we taken into consideration in that land, in that part of Pinal County. So it's hard to see this board as leaders, frankly. When I was in high school, there was school shootings all over the country, and we were afraid to even go to school. Now we are afraid once again. Our community deserves to leave our homes for work and school knowing that we will be coming back to our families and not be taken away by masked, unidentified agents. Profiled due to our skin color, accent, or what job we perform, these practices erode community trust in law enforcement. I live in fear not because of my legal status, but because of my skin color and because of the languages I speak with my friends and family. I fear for my sisters and their young family. I fear for my grandparents who have been permanent residents of this country since the 80s. They have begun to carry their documents with them, even just to go get groceries out of fear. I fear for my hardworking community. Is this what my community deserves? Is this how we should feel? How can you, Board of Supervisors, ensure that what we are seeing across the country won't happen here in Pinal County? 5 people have already been killed tragically in ICE custody within the first 15 days of 2026. How will you make sure this won't happen to us too? And the question for you, Board of Supervisors, is whether you want to be on the right side of history or on the right side of history and with humanity. Que Dios bendiga a nuestra hermosa comunidad trabajadora que muy pocas veces se ve representada en esos lugares de legislación, pero son valiosos miembros de nuestra comunidad. Somos comunidad. Abolish ICE and free Palestine.
Mr. Reck, you're up.
I'm Noel Reck from Eloy. The Trump administration, with authoritarian zeal, pretends to act in the name of the American people. Nothing could be further from the truth. The majority of the American people do not accept his words and actions regarding whitewashing American history, January 6th and the corresponding pardons and commutations, Medicaid and Obamacare cuts, inflationary, politically motivated tariffs, the Epstein files, reducing childhood vaccination guidelines, repealing universally accepted air and water pollution regulations, his new board of peace, Venezuela and exploding suspected drug boats, El Salvador's CCOP prison, Ukraine, Gaza, Greenland, the alienation of NATO, And of course, the thuggish, brutish, poorly trained, armed, and masked ICE agents terrorizing undocumented immigrants and citizens alike. And the list could go on if time allowed. This same zeal has crept its way into Pinal County with aggressive traffic enforcement by the Pinal County Sheriff's Department, leading to concerns that the stops are pretextual and/or constitute profiling. County Attorney Brad Miller's secret 287G agreement with the Department of Homeland Security and his support of extremist John Gillette's House Bill 2811, which criminalizes obstruction of ICE agents, however that will be subjectively defined, are additional examples. You are praised for standing up against the County Attorney Miller's 287G agreement and the attempt to usurp your authority. Regarding the agreement of collaboration between DHS, ICE, and Pinal County Sheriff's Office, you are to be criticized for accepting any agreement involving a completely out-of-control DHS and ICE, an agency that needs to be dismantled and reconstituted with necessary guardrails. On another topic, there is dismay that the latest Pinal County Weekly Roundup email noted that county offices will be closed on January 19th for Civil Rights Day, with no mention of Martin Luther King. Knowing Arizona's contentious reluctance to officially make the day a state holiday, and when made official, designating it as Martin Luther King Day, Civil Rights Day, makes the county's omission questionable at best and egregious at worst. Supervisor McClure, I must criticize you for this omission only because you are chairman of the board and to give you the opportunity to respond as to how and why this omission occurred. With the recent celebration of Martin Luther King Day in mind, my fellow speakers will read an edited version of his letter from a Birmingham jail to eerily show the similarities of his description of 1963 America, his explanation of the civil rights movement to those who questioned his actions, and the untenable and dangerous situation we find ourselves in today. We believe his words have great relevance and impact, and may they guide you as you deal with contemporary issues mirrored in his letter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reck. Next, Gail Reck.
Hello, Gail Reck, Eloy. I'm reading from the Martin Luther King letter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality and destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. You deplore the demonstrations taking place, yet fail to express a similar concern for the conditions that brought about the demonstrations. Content with a superficial social analysis that deals merely with effects and does not grapple with underlying causes. You may well ask why direct action, why sit-ins, marches, and so forth. Nonviolent direct action seeks to dramatize the issue so that it can no longer be ignored, so that individuals could rise from the bondage of myths and half-truths to the unfettered realm of creative analysis and objective appraisal, rising from the dark depths of prejudice and racism to the majestic heights of understanding and brotherhood. When you have seen hate-filled policemen curse, kick, and even kill, when you are harried by day and haunted by night, living constantly at tiptoe stance, never quite knowing what to expect next, and are plagued with inner fears and outer resentments, then you will understand. You express anxiety over willingness to break laws. This is certainly a legitimate concern. A just law is a man-made code that squares with the moral law or the law of God. An unjust law is a code that is out of harmony with the moral law. Any law that uplifts human personality is just. Any law that degrades human personality is unjust. We should never forget that everything Adolf Hitler did in Germany was legal, and everything the Hungarian freedom fighters did in Hungary was illegal. It was illegal to aid and comfort a Jew in Hitler's Germany. Law and order exists for the purpose of establishing justice. When they fail in this purpose, they become dangerously structured dams that block the flow of social progress. We who engage in nonviolent direct action are not the creators of tension. We bring it out in the open where it can be seen and dealt with. Injustice must be exposed with all the tension its exposure creates to the light of human conscience and the air of national opinion before it can be cured. Now is the time to make the real promise of democracy. Now is the time to lift our national policy from the quicksand of racial injustice and to the solid rock of human dignity. Thank you.
Mr. Atchu.
Board, Ralph Atcher from Eloy. I'm here to finish out the Martin Luther King passages, which are still very applicable today. Initially disappointed at being characterized as an extremist, I gradually gained a measure of satisfaction from the label. Was not Jesus an extremist for love, saying, love your neighbors, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which spitefully use you and persecute you? Will we be extremists for hate or extremists for love? Will we be extremists for the preservation of justice or for the extinction of justice? I suppose I should have realized that few members of the oppressors can understand the deep groans and passionate yearnings of the oppressed, and still fewer have the vision to see that injustice must be rooted out by the strong, persistent, and determined action. I must honestly reiterate that I have been disappointed with the church. While early Christians rejoiced at being deemed worthy to suffer for what they believed, things are different now. Some oppositional arch defenders of the status quo vocally sanction things as they are, saying, what kind of people worship here? Who is their God? I feel impelled to mention one other point that has troubled me profoundly. You warmly commended the Birmingham police force for keeping order and preventing violence. I doubt that you would have been so warmly commended the police force if you had seen its dogs sinking their teeth into unarmed Negroes or observed their ugly and inhumane treatment of Negroes here in the city jail, or watched them push and curse old Negro women and young Negro girls, or had seen them slap and kick old Negro men and young boys. Let us hope that the dark clouds of racial prejudice will soon pass away and the deep fog of misunderstanding will be lifted from our fear-drenched communities. And in some not too distant tomorrow, the radiant stars of love and brotherhood will shine over our great nation with all their scintillating beauty. These words for the cause of peace and brotherhood came directly from Martin Luther King. I personally want to follow up with the board, however, on the Free Point Ecosystems Project. It's been well over 2 months since I formally requested your staff to schedule a meeting with Kevin Green from the EPA and me. Despite Supervisor Miller's assurance that the meeting would be scheduled, we've heard nothing. And I'm wondering if there's some further action that needs to be taken. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Thomas McMinn.
My name is Thomas McMinn, and I'm a resident of Queen Creek, Pinal County. I'm responding to the executive session, item number 4. I request that the supervisors consider the actions of ICE, which nurture unrest and violence in our communities. As citizens, we no longer feel safe in our homes. The sight of women being shot, pulled out of cars, or ICE breaking down the door of the wrong home, dragging an undressed man out into the snow, highlights the illegal, unwarranted, untrained, sadistic acts of ICE. I urge you to do whatever is possible to limit ICE. Work with legislatures to enforce habeas corpus procedures. ICE should be unmasked and wear IDs. We need to protect our residents. We need to know in advance where ICE intends to attack. We need to protect the dignity of every human. And why am I asking this? The dignity of every human being is considered a natural right. It is the foundational principle underlying Christianity and our Constitution. We have to ask ourselves, do we really hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal? All men are created equal? that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Further, in America, regardless of citizenship, everyone, citizens or immigrants, have civil rights, and those rights include the protection of habeas corpus. Enshrined in the U.S. Constitution in Article 1, Section 9, habeas corpus requires authorities to bring a detained person before a court to justify their confinement. It forbids arbitrary imprisonment and ensures the government has a lawful basis to hold someone. Yes, there are limited suspension provisions for this habeas corpus due to rebellion or fear of invasion. But we have to ask ourselves, are the vast majority of immigrants being rounded up by ICE criminals so dangerous, so violent, so numerous that the situation warrants suspension of habeas corpus? The video statistics from various media outlets would show and say otherwise. And if you saw the segment from 60 Minutes this past weekend, of the 250 men that were shipped to Venezuela, of those 250 men, only 8 were found who have been subject to severe things. So thank you very much.
That concludes the cards that I've received. And are there others that wish to speak? I guess I've received one more card. We'll call you up in time. Just go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Gail Peters. I live in Pinal County. I've been here for the last 20 years. I really love this county, and I love our Board of Supervisors and the orderly way in which things are looked at. And I'm glad for the decision by the outside attorney that we can't have somebody signing a memorandum of understanding with the United States government without the review and approval of the Board of Supervisors. There's too many ramifications, consequences, and other things that need to be considered, that we shouldn't have somebody just deciding on their own to make a decision and sign such an agreement. I am in favor of what ICE is doing in removing what they're calling the worst of the worst. I don't want people here who can be harmed by people who came here and are hiding now from being returned to their own country, where hopefully they would do things to make their own country better. And talk about fear, huh? Yeah, there's a lot of fear. It's not just the people with brown and other skin. It's the illegality and what's happening in our country. I moved here from Minnesota, and I'm certainly glad I don't live there right now. It's extremely frightening. My kids are up there, and I think things should be done in accordance with the law, and I really do appreciate that the board has had that decision made this morning that we will not have a second MOU without complete unanimity in that. And thank you for letting me talk.
Thank you, Ms. Peters. Any others that wish to speak? Mr. Revelis. Mr. Ellison, Mr. Revelis was recognized. I'll bring you up. Okay.
Good morning, Chairman, Supervisors. George Ellison, Gold Canyon. The county, state, and country are in trouble. Citizens must be protected from the violent acts of the extreme left. We cannot allow Pinal County to become Minneapolis, Portland, Chicago. The left commits crimes of aggravated assault and attempted murders of ICE agents in the execution of their duties. The left storms churches to harass people worshiping God. The left blocks highways with leftist climate rioters. The left won't let Republican politicians eat in peace, and they mob them, including the President of the United States, who was mobbed by the pink whatever. Recently at a restaurant in Washington, D.C., the Secret Service were sleeping and let these people get within 5 feet of the president. The Democratic Party is committing insurrection against the elected government, and the county must be prepared to handle leftist rioting and protect Pinal County citizens. The left has tried again and again to assassinate President Trump and recently expanded their rage against a non-politician who merely spoke, Charlie Kirk, who was murdered. The left's violence must be stopped. Illegal immigration itself is a felony. The Democrat Party wrote that law and yet now tells the country it's okay to stop, obstruct, harm ICE agents and ignore the law so that the left can protect illegal aliens, and not just illegal aliens, which is a felony, who have committed horrible crimes such as murder, rape, sodomy of children. Yes, I want those people deported. That's the law. Do you want these people roaming around committing horrible crimes against Americans? That's insane. Democrat felons must be stopped in obstructing and harming ICE agents. The criminal illegal aliens need to be deported ASAP. Our police need to protect ICE. It is not ICE's job to be the police. Police need to be police. We must stand behind the Pinal County Sheriff's Office in enforcing violations of state law by the left's attempted murders, aggravated assaults, criminal damage to property. I believe that the Pinal County Sheriff's does protect Pinal County citizens and must continue to protect us from the left's violence. Fox's Greg Gutfeld talked recently about the left engaging in suicidal empathy driven by rescue fantasy. Their lives are pits of emptiness. They insanely defend strangers who have committed violent felonies against Americans, such as murders, rapes, child sexual assaults, sodomy on children. They invade space safest. The leftists that invented safe spaces for college campuses are now invading previously safe houses of worship. They call conservatives fascists, yet they're hunting people on the street as though they're animals. This has to stop. We have laws. The laws must be enforced. American citizens of all colors must be protected. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Reveles, you are. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Roberto Reveles, resident of Gold Canyon. Thank you for rejecting the flawed 287G today. Mr. Chairman, the only convicted rapist that we should be concerned about is sitting in the White House. But within this room, Mr. Chairman, we've long been exposed to major conflicts over truth, morality, and accountability, leading to a loss of public confidence in Pinal County's fairness and integrity. I'll cite some of the many examples, starting with this week's insensitive county's failure to honor Monday's holiday by not using the name Martin Luther King Jr., a decision to not honor the black man who gave his life to give life to the Declaration of Independence words. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with inalienable rights of liberty, life, and pursuit of happiness. Other county moral issues over truth have recently been on display involving a member of this board, the county sheriff, the county attorney, and the Florence Unified School District's governing board president. Example, board member Jeff Surtee. His repetition of the baseless and untruthful big lie statement that the 2020 election was stolen and that the Jan 6 violent attack on our Capitol was perpetrated not by Trump's followers, but by anti-Trump FBI agents. Example, County Sheriff Ross Teeple, who called neighborhood residents idiots for exercising their free speech against militarized ICE agents violently deploying tear gas weaponry. But when asked if he would characterize the Jan 6 violent rioters as idiots, he cowardly refused to answer. Example, County Attorney Brad Miller, who ignored the rule of law that you've fortunately overturned. Attorney Miller further disrespected the rule of law by untruthfully declaring that the Arizona Attorney General has no oversight authority over the county attorney actions. A final example of disrespect for truth is the lie by Roger Beatty, president of Florence School Board, who, talking here during the IGA discussion between the school board, lied to you that the school board had much discussed the issue I raised. In fact, there was no discussion. In fact, he lied. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm leaving a copy of my full statement with the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Vallis. Any others that wish to speak? Tell you what, Mr. Bean, or not? Okay. And sir, in the back, I'll get to you next.
Sorry. Members of the board, Chairman Tom Bean, I'm from Casa Grande. 287, believe it or not, affects me. My wife's son does not look American. He has a strange last name. My wife does not look American. She has a hyphenated name that looks a little strange. If she were to be stopped by ICE, it scares the heck out of me as to what might happen. I tell her, do not leave the house without your passport. Her passport testifies that she is an American citizen, born in America. But how often have we seen on the news at night people ripped out of cars, thrown to the ground? Nobody asks, where's your passport? Where's your driver's license? They are beat up, and it offends me. It scares me. I believe right now Pinal County is safe. I want you guys to please help keep it safe. 287 is not the answer to keeping this safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bean. Sir, in the back, you're up. I like your shirt, too, by the way. Thank you.
Well, hello, everyone. My name's Chris. I'm a resident, or Chris Bell. I'm a resident here in Florence for about 15 years. And before I bury the lead, I am here in opposition to 287G. I've lived in Arizona all my life, and I've crossed many a Border Patrol checkpoint in that time because I used to travel a lot, but I've never been concerned about my safety at a checkpoint. And for anyone that's not familiar, typically they'll ask you if you're a U.S. citizen. I'll say, yes, sir, and they'll wave me on my way. There have been many occasions where I've been pulled into secondary, and they've searched my vehicle, and they've asked me questions, checked my ID, but ultimately send me on my way. And because I'm a silly person, it's crossed my mind a few times that, what if I mess with them a little bit? What if next time they ask me, are you an American citizen? I say, ¿Cómo? ¿No hablo inglés, señor? And just see what happens. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Are they going to pull me into secondary? Are they going to search my car and check my ID and then eventually send me on my way? At least this time I would get a laugh out of it, and maybe even the agent would also get a laugh out of it. But I feel that things are different now. I no longer feel safe speaking Spanish at a Border Patrol checkpoint. And ICE is something different entirely because they seem to have become emboldened with their anonymity and free of accountability. So with them coming into our community, I feel that every day when I leave my home, I know that I'm on the menu. Unfortunately, because the Supreme Court has decided that because of the way that I look or the way that I'm dressed, that ICE has the right to ask me for my documentation. Now, let's say I have to work on my home or work on my yard, and I go to Home Depot, and I'm wearing my yard clothes, and they approach me at the Home Depot. I will exercise my First Amendment right to let them know what I feel about them and what I've seen them do. And depending on the agent that I encounter, reports show that I could be detained anywhere from hours to days, even though I was born here. Reports show that I could be physically abused when I'm not resisting. And reports show that I could even be sent out of the state to Texas, for example, for processing and not be brought back, have to find my own way back when they realize that I'm an American citizen. And as some of the latest reporting, the worst yet could be that I could even be shot and killed as an unarmed American citizen, again, depending on which agent I run into, all for exercising my First Amendment right. So, some feel that ICE will make our community safer, but the way I see it, the way ICE is currently conducting themselves as their activities in our community increases, our safety will decrease. So I just call on our elected officials to do what they can to promote complete accountability as ICE carries out their operations. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others that wish to speak? Please. Ma'am. And I would also agree with your shirt. My wife would as well.
Oh. Hi, my name is Janet Litton, and I am a resident of Santan Valley. First of all, I'd just like to point out that unless you're a Native American, we're all sons and daughters of immigrants. And I want to bring up a point that somebody had said about the violence of the left. I worked in the public defender's office for 23 years, and I can tell you the majority of the people who committed the most heinous crimes were white men, not brown people. But we get threatened every day sitting out on protest by people driving by in their big Trump cars telling us that I hope children get raped or, just horrible things. So violence is on the other side too. But another point I'd like to make is we need to recognize the psychological effects that this is having on our children. Not just brown kids who are experiencing being ripped away from their families, but our white children are being terrorized too. In schools, they're going into the schools. Do you think that the white kids don't see what's happening? They have brown friends. They see their brown friends' families get torn apart. Their brown friends disappear. So they come home scared to death that this is going to happen to them. They don't understand that it's because the other people are brown and they're white. They don't understand that this is not going to happen to them. This is an appalling behavior in our community. Our communities are scared. And we're losing money. Your revenue is losing money from people not completing jobs because they don't get their workers to come to the construction sites. They're not going out spending money at their grocery stores, restaurants, movie theaters. Your bottom line is going to be economy is going to be going down because nobody's spending money because they're all afraid. They're afraid of these masked men who don't identify themselves. How do you think kids feel when they see these masked men? They're not going to trust their police officers anymore. They're not going to be, I want to be a police officer when I grow up, because they're afraid. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others that wish to speak? Going once, going twice. Sold. We'll call the public. Closed. Supervisor Sturdy, you were called. Would you like to speak?
Yeah, there's lots of information coming out every week on the last two elections, and I'm keeping an open mind.
Okay, and I was called out as well, and yes, for Martin Luther King Day, I would agree. I don't truly appreciate the way it's called out, and I would change that. So, Mr. Rebellis, just to say. Let's see, Mr. Atchu, you had. I'm sorry, I didn't get it written down quick enough. 3-point eco what? What? Oh. Supervisor, I'm sorry, Supervisor Mill. I'm sorry about that. You didn't get called out. He got called out. Okay, there we go.
I'm just not very good at herding cats. I owe Ralph a phone call. I actually tried to call you, and you were out of country. So anyway, I'll catch up with you shortly. Okay.
Okay, and then Ms. Mark, let's see, and then I was called here. Well, I wasn't called, but the board was called out for Section 811. Can we look into that, please, staff? Thank you, and we'll get back. And that, I believe, is all that I had there. Next, we would move to item number 14, which is discussion and conditional disapproval of a lease agreement between Pinal County, the landlord, and the town of Santan Valley, the tenant, for use of a county-owned property at 31505 North Schneff Road, Santan Valley, for municipal offices and related functions And this is Mr. Ortiz. I didn't have to call you. You just showed right up.
That's right. Read your mind. Thank you, Joe Ortiz, Pinal County Development Services Managing Director. Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, Board. Yes, before I get going, for the record, I'd like to let you know that the agenda was not posted with the proposed map. We didn't have it available at the time of the posting, but I do have it now, and I'd like to provide it to the clerk of the board's office. It's considered Exhibit A for the map for the lease agreement.
But it will be added to the packet later. Yep, thank you. Okay.
Correct. That map's just identifying the location within that Santan complex building.
Okay.
That is described. As you mentioned, this is item 14, a regular item, and this is a discussion item with the conditional approval or disapproval for this lease agreement between Pinal County and Town of Santan Valley. It is located, as you mentioned, 31505 North Sneff Road, Santan Valley, Arizona, 85143. This is for municipal offices related to the Santan Valley functions. One of the items here that just more for edification as well is that it does have a month-to-month terminal by either party with 180-day written notice. Pursuant to ASRS 11256.01B, the board approval is conditional pending the public notice period, which will end January 29th of 2026 at 9:59 a.m. That's posted notification for any other bids that may come up. If no other alternative bids are received by that time, under ARS 11256.01C, the condition is fulfilled, and the clerk of the board shall record the fully executed lease after 9:59 a.m. on January 29, 2026. Another awareness item is that this is needs to be a unanimous consent is required. And I do have Brent Billingsley here if you have any specific questions for related to the town of Santan Valley.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Ortiz or Mr. Billingsley?
The map we're looking at with all of the white on the left-hand side, is that Supervisor Goodman's area?
I gave my copy away.
You're at the bottom of the map, aren't you?
I'm in, I'm on the bottom part.
So you're down over here?
Yeah, but then the clerk of the court, superior clerk of the court is right there. It's the shaded, dark shaded area that we're talking about.
I know that. I'm just wondering where
and
you are.
then you've got recorder's office and then the treasurer.
Okay, thanks.
On the other side, on the west side.
Okay, and the term of this agreement is?
It's month to month.
Month to month. Okay, I'm sorry, I did see that, but I.
It's telling we decide. Hey, you're out.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? No. In that case, may I get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we conditionally approve the lease agreement between Pinal County and the town of Santan Valley for use of county-owned property located at 31505 North Schneff Road, Santan Valley, Arizona 85143, for municipal offices and related governmental functions pursuant to ARS 11-256-01B. The clerk of the board is authorized to record the fully executed lease after 9:59 a.m. on January 29, 2026, provided that no other alternative bid is received before that time in accordance with ARS 11-256.01C.
That was amazing.
Yeah, well done.
Hey,
Very, very well done.
you
Very
can
nice.
read.
So I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Thank you. And with that, I gavelled too quickly, but this meeting is adjourned.